What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Boundless Perception YouTube channel. And today we're going to be connecting a rocker switch to an old favorite here, the plasmid vial from BioShock. So without further ado, let's hop to it. Alright guys, so as I said, today we're going to be connecting some LEDs to our two-prong rocker switch. Sorry if I sound a little bit tired. I actually just got back less than 10 hours ago from Nicaragua. We were over there for a vacation. It was absolutely amazing. I may link one of the videos to it. We did volcano boarding down Cerro Negro, and yeah, it was absolutely awesome. So yeah, sorry if I sound a little bit tired, but this had to get done. It was on my mind the whole time, and I meant to do it before we left, but anyways, we're getting to it now. So that aside, today I said we're going to be connecting this, switchboard up. All you're going to need today is all the items I'm going to have linked, of course, but you're going to want to use a 12-volt battery. And I'll tell you why at the end of this episode. I mean, you can stick around for that if you would like, my pros and cons. And essentially, this is my very first time doing this, and I actually failed the first two times. Well, actually, first time, and then the second time was kind of a pass fail, but the third time was a success. Anyways, though, before we jump straight into the electronics here, I'm going to show you guys how to basically hollow out your, 3D printed part to use a rocker switch. These are the rocker switches that I'm using. One right here. It came in a pack with some wires so you could basically connect them and you don't have to solder them. I actually ended up just soldering it though. I didn't use the pre-made connections, but that's an option for you if you would like. I'll go ahead and link that. But anyways though, let's hop over to Blender. I'm gonna show you guys how to get your part ready for the rocker switch. So let's hop over to that. All right guys, so this is very, very easy to do. The first thing you're gonna want to do inside of Blender is go to File, Import, STL. So you're going to want to go ahead and import whichever STL it is you're looking for. I went ahead and did that. And here we have the top of our BioShock plasmid piece. This is the piece that basically I need to edit in order to get the rocker switch to fit into. So after I import my piece, I went ahead and got the measurements of my rocker switch and decided where I was going to place it. And I'm looking at the bottom here. This right here is essentially where I want to place it. And if you don't have your piece, lined up where you want, all you have to do is go to, select the piece. It's selected up here in the top right with the orange selection. You go to Set Origin and you go, Set Origin, and you go Geometry to Origin, and that will move the piece right where you want it. So we have that there. We have our basically, virtual cursor in the middle of our piece that we want to add the rocker switch to. So now that we have that all done, we go ahead and we go to Add Mesh Cylinder. And as you can see, it added a very, very tiny cylinder here. This is obviously not the size of our rocker switch, but it's the start. So then we have this here. You will see this transform box. To get this to appear, you press in. See, in makes it appear, makes it disappear. In makes it appear. I think my rocker switch was 25 millimeters. I forget what that was in inches. I basically went from inches to millimeters. So just make sure you do that conversion and know that this is not meters right here. This is millimeters. So I set my X to 25 millimeters. It stretches out like that. Then I set my Y to 25 millimeters. And bam, there you have it. We now have a cylinder that is the size maybe a little bit larger than the rocker switch that I wanted to add to the prop. Now the Z basically is going to control how long it is. So let's say I went ahead and scale that up drastically. You can see now it's going all the way through the prop. For this exact prop, it doesn't matter. It will matter in other props, but for this one, it doesn't matter. So I can just make the Z whatever I want. Then we select our original prop, which we have here. We're going to go down. I already have this still here, but let's just say we didn't. I got rid of it. We're going to go here, add modifier, Boolean. You want to make sure difference is selected. We're going to click the little eyedropper tool. Then we're going to click our cylinder, and you will see when I remove the whoops, sorry, wrong one. When I remove the cylinder, we now have a hole that was the exact size of the cylinder. And our cylinder, whoops, this is the wrong one. Actually, this cylinder, not the original one I was using, but this cylinder. So see, our cylinder size or hole or whatever is exactly what we set the dimensions to. You can even see it more if you go up here. There's this toggle X-ray, the two squares on top of one another. And you can see that the cylinder is running through the entire model. So that's all you have to do. You can play around with that. I highly recommend only printing a small section, like a slice, through your model before you print the entire thing to make sure that your switch actually does fit. But that's just my suggestion. Do whatever you would like. If you feel that you're good to go and that's not needed, then go ahead and print it. But that's just my suggestion. Okay guys, so I went ahead and spared you the boring portion of me soldering everything together, but let me show you exactly what I did. So here we have our 12-volt battery holder. As you can see, this is what it looked like before. I have previously done these with LED strips, and I just cut off the LED strip because I didn't have any more of the actual battery holder, so I had to strip one from another thing I made. So that's what this is, just another one. Putting that to the side, here we have our actual battery holder. Red is positive, black is negative. For each LED strip you have, or LED diode, you have a positive and a negative side. So before you begin this whole project, you're going to want to make sure your LED is actually good to go. You can tell here, hopefully you guys can see this, but we have a longer prong and a shorter prong. The longer prong is the positive end, the shorter prong is the negative end. Make sure you test your LED prior to actually using it, because you don't want to do this whole project and have your LED not work, and then that's, you're discouraged. So yeah, just test it beforehand. So we know our LED is working. This is actually a 2 LED system that we're using here. As you can see, one LED here, the other LED there. So to start this whole thing off, you're going to want to first use some wire strippers. I use these here. They're absolutely phenomenal. I highly recommend them. It's much easier than cutting the wire with a knife than by hand. You just literally put the wire into here, squeeze, and it cuts the wire for you. Absolutely amazing tool. Highly, highly recommend. But if you don't have one, you could just, of course, use the old-fashioned way and use a knife. That's the way that I learned originally. My dad taught me. So anyways, though, we're going to take our red positive wire flowing off of our battery holder and connect it to the longer pronged positive end of the LED light. And that's what we did here. We just soldered it on there. Then we have our negative end. We did the exact same thing. We took our negative end, put a black wire. It doesn't matter which color wire you use, whichever you want. I just use red and black because that's what most use. Our black end of our LED light is going to go, so our black negative end is going to go to our positive end on our next LED light. So this right here is the positive end of this LED. This right here is the negative end. And as you can see, positive to negative. Then we have positive coming off of this LED going up to here. And then we have the negative end right here going to our rocker switch. That's literally all you have to do. It's very, very simple to do. Now, I will show you guys. We have our rocker switch on the inside of there. Hopefully you guys can see that. Let me see if I can get a little bit closer for you guys. There we go. So yes, our rocker switch is inside of there. And setting it back down on the table, refocusing the camera. There we go. All we're going to do now is turn it on to show you guys that it does in fact work. And we have red lights for our plasmid vial. And that's literally all there is to it. So I can go over it one more time again for you guys. We have our 2 prongs coming off our rocker switch. It has to have a complete circuit. Positive flows all the way through, negative comes out. Essentially, that's all you have. So you have positive going in here to the positive part of this LED light, negative coming off, flowing into the positive end of this LED light, then flowing back through and back around. That's all you have to do. Very, very simple. And it makes this project so much easier, which I'll talk about in a second. All right, so everything is now assembled. We have put our bottom on and we have put our top on. So let's see if it still works, and we still have LED lights going on here. Again, it's not super bright because we are only using 2 LEDs, but if you use an LED strip, you'll be able to line them down the sides here and get the same effect using the methods that we just showed. So there you have it. All right, guys, so if you made it this far in the video, hopefully you did, learn how to actually wire your own LEDs to your cosplays. These were using, LED, just one diode. You can use the same thing with strips, basically the exact same effect, and your item will most likely be brighter. But if you made it this far, let me tell you a little bit more. I definitely failed a few times when I first tried to make this video. I tried to do this process, and that's because I didn't fully understand everything that I needed to know about LEDs and batteries, essentially. So all I had ever wired up until this point was one LED to one battery, and that was usually like a watch-sized battery, like this one here. That's all I did, and everything worked fine, and I had no troubles. Well, on this project, I first tried to use a 9-volt battery. That's what this right here is. I'm not sure where the battery went, but yeah, I tried to use this and it didn't work. And I couldn't figure out why. I had everything wired. I was really upset. I took basically the battery off, tried to do everything again, and it wouldn't work. So then I took my LEDs off, tried just powering them with just the watch battery, and they weren't working. So after some research, I figured out I had blown the LEDs. I actually went through 3 or 4 red LEDs before I figured out that I was blowing them with the 9-volt battery, and that I needed a resistor before I could connect the entire sequence. So that was that failure. No 9-volt battery without resistors. Then I jumped over to my AA batteries. AA batteries do in fact work, but if you put 2 LEDs in series, then it basically, draws too much power, and each LED is extremely faint. They're not bright at all. So the the AA batteries were out. They were just not producing a bright enough, LED. Then I did some more research, some more reading, and figured out 12 volts was the way to go. I had my little 12-volt battery holders here that I had been using, tons of times in the past. So went ahead, wired that up, and that works. So hopefully that saves you guys some time, some LEDs. Do not use a 9-volt battery. These are do not use 2 AA batteries, and do not use a 9-volt battery without a resistor, as it will not work. I'm not exactly sure if it'll work for LED strips. These are just for, technically 2 LEDs on their own. I have to try it again with an LED strip, but I know now for sure with 2 LEDs wired in series, it does not get bright enough with your AA battery, and it will not work at all with your 9-volt battery. But anyways, this was an awesome learning experience, a great project. I have now upgraded my BioShock plasmid vials so that you have 2 lights on the side. And what's so awesome is I no longer have to take the entire top of this off. I just simply press a button and our lights are off. This is so awesome. Definitely loving that I put the time and effort in to learn this, because it was, something that I really need to try out, instead of just having one battery for one light, multiple lights with one battery. Anyways though, if you guys like this video, definitely leave a comment in the comment sections below, and definitely leave a thumb up for this video. It would certainly help the channel. And if you guys, end up doing this, send me a link. I would love to see what you guys are making. That's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much again, and until next time, stay balanced. See you all. Bye-bye.